And with that, I'm delighted to pass the morning meeting over to the control of Mr. Kenneth Robertson, many of you know him already. He is one of our most dedicated and effective workers in this area. He is the author of many letters to newspapers, in fact, many more than get published, especially in the Boston papers. But he always expresses his view very pungently with adequate documentation, and I'm sure that you're going to have an interesting experience in listening to him and the other speakers this morning, because I know they're going to give you a well-documented presentation of the opposition to urban renewal. Mr. Kenneth Robertson.
Thank you, Larry. This program has been a little bit late in starting, and I think that you don't want to hear me, you want to hear the speakers, and I'll start right out with the first one, who is a person who has lost her family business, her home, and her second home is now threatened by urban renewal. Her subject is the mouse and the elephant. She is the mouse. The urban renewal is the elephant. Miss Goodenough.
Urban renewal is such a simple thing that it is very difficult to explain it to people. I am part of the rabble in Boston that is endeavoring to annoy the peace of mind of our city councilors and a few selected other people. Meantime, do you know what the definition of an elephant is? It is a mouse which has been developed by a cost-plus fixed-fee contract. That is what urban renewal is. It started as a mouse to do something they called slum clearance. It has now become big enough to trample on you, no matter where you hide. The cost plus is where you come in. You are to pay for everything, including experts. Never again will you gather together so many of them. You must become an expert in defending your neighborhood. Had Congress passed a law taking over all the land in the United States, almost everyone would have objected. Instead, we have this quiet, piecemeal system. You don't know the first time they come to your town. They borrow the costume of Santa Claus. They discuss the things you would like to see accomplished in your vicinity, and in short order, everyone is making lists of improvements they would like for their city. The trouble is that at the same time, some of the people are making lists of the land they would like to have. This doesn't alarm you at first because you know your property isn't blighted. But here is the first stumbling block. The meaning of words. Russia uses words in such a way as to give them an entirely different meaning. We are now doing the same thing. Blight now means whatever the authority says it is. If they pronounce you blighted, that is the end of it. You cannot go to court and argue that you are not blighted. They have been given the sole right of determining blight. Vacant land even can be declared blighted under certain circumstances. This law of authority is in many ways pushing aside our regular form of government. The urban renewal law, which employs eminent domain to destroy the financial resources of thousands of its citizens, cannot be justified. People used to be worried over the pork barrel appropriations, when Congress would allocate a few millions for new post office buildings and such. But along came progress and showed them how to spend billions instead of millions by tearing down instead of building. Eminent domain as it is being used is a capital levy. Taxation attacks your income. Urban renewal attacks your capital. It is the equivalent of telling people that their money is not safe if they put it in real estate, because at the moment, this is the only form of capital that is being seized. We hear much about insurance value, assessed value, fair value, market value, mortgage value, but replacement value is kept very quiet, although that is the only relevant value. If you have a piece of real estate which satisfies your living or business requirements, and an authority comes along and takes it on their terms, your first thought is, how can I replace it? That gap between the money people have put into their property and this little bit of money they receive from the government is not recorded. No statistics are kept of this unpleasant phase. It blows away into thin air. A loan, borrowed money, more debt is all our beloved government cares to suggest, as it leaves you stranded on the highway of our fast-moving economy, the refugees of our planned society. Where is compassion? Do you remember the popular song, "I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles"? It seemed harmless at the time, but now many idle people are going back to college to learn how to make imaginative bubbles. They want a place to land the bubbles which their imaginations have created. They call it planning. It is fine. This country was built by people who had imagination and created accordingly, but they used their own money and that of people who wished to join with them. Now it is a different matter. These people have no assets of their own. They want your tax money and your land to use for their bubble planning. They don't wish to buy your property. They want it by eminent domain. Your land now belongs to you only until the whim of some authority decides they have a better use for it. There is much bureaucracy and red tape to accomplish this aim, but all you have to do is learn how to prick the bubble. Redistribution of land is taking place. Austin Lake called it legalized plunder. The latest message of the president calls for complete regimentation and dictatorship for land and buildings. We have been through the New Deal, Fair Deal, Square Deal, Vigor Deal, and now I claim we have reached the Raw Deal. I wish that we might work for an honest society, and then I believe the great society would take care of itself.
Thank you, Ms. Goodenough, for a very, very moving speech.